Welcome back to Cord Cutting Today, where we break down some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting, including the end of Paramount as we know it, over $2 billion in cuts, and thousands of employees about to be laid off are about to happen. We'll tell you what's happening there. One former executive says they just need to blow up the whole thing. Also, ESPN is reportedly close to a deal to buy MLB.TV as part of a bigger TV rights deal for Major League Baseball. And we'll see Apple lose TV rights, but Netflix gets some streaming of Major League Baseball. We'll tell you what's happening here and more. Also, with all of this, we got a lot happening in the world of AI. We'll tell you about these stories and more in a second, give you my opinion on them. But I'd love to hear your opinion. You can find a link to each story I talk about in the show notes and in the first pinned comment. As always, if you want these delivered to your email, you can get these stories in your email box free every day. Just check out the link in the show notes and in the pinned comment. I have a link there to subscribe to our free daily newsletter. One little quick note here. A lot of people sometimes say, hey, I'm having problems signing up. If you're using ad blocker, you have to disable it. It doesn't quite work with the sign-up system from MailChimp for some reason. Just for that little sign-up period, though. All right. As always, though, if you like what we do here, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, doing one or both. Let YouTube know you enjoy what we do here. All right, let's dive into it. It's been reported that Paramount's about to cut over $2 billion in costs. Now, that's not new. That number's been floating around. But part of this, what's really new here, is to do that, they're going to be laying off thousands of people. Now, that won't reach $2 billion in savings, but it will help it reach that number. But I suspect we'll see massive changes to its cable TV networks with that. Also with all this, a former head of Comedy Central has come out and said that Paramount needs to just blow it up. Just blow up what they have now and basically start over. Doug Hezrog, I hope I said that, went on the TV of Tomorrow podcast and talked about shutting down and basically not shutting down, but blowing it up and getting back to basics. Now, this is not unusual. A lot of new executives do this. They will often come into a company that's struggling. Let's be honest, Paramount, for all of its success and everything it does right, is very much struggling right now. And first, what you often do in this situation is you analyze what's happening, you know, what's working, what's not. And then you kind of do things. You swap out a lot of leadership, you re-interview people for positions, you make big changes. Because obviously there's a reason why things aren't going the way it is, and you want to make changes to it. What will those be? I predict a few big things here. MTV and BET are going to see big changes come in there, but other cable networks too. I've said this for a while. I still think Paramount has chances to be the cable network to shut down the most cable TV networks, especially with the smaller like MTV2s and those smaller other networks that they run. There's a lot of room for consolidation here. We'll pay a close eye to this, but $2 billion in cuts and thousands of staff about to be laid off. All right, late on Thursday, we learned from Yahoo Sports and a report from The Athletic, two different reports confirming this, that Major League Baseball is close to a new TV deal. And with this, a few big things are happening here. First of all, Apple TV will reportedly not retain its Friday night baseball rights. No more MLB games on Apple TV. Interestingly, I'll be interested to see if Roku channel keeps its Sunday morning games. With that, though, The Athletic says that ESPN is close to a deal to buy MLB.TV and become the exclusive home for streaming of out-of-market Major League Baseball games. Now, what does that mean for T-Mobile's free MLB.TV? Unknown. Even if they sell this, you know, they got in the current contracts. T-Mobile has a contract through the 2028 season to offer free MLB.TV. Now, doesn't mean that there's not an out in that clause, right? Maybe Major League Baseball pays T-Mobile a fee and ends that early, or they just have some type of early cancellation deal of it. We'll have to wait and see that. But with this also, Netflix will begin some Major League Baseball rights that reportedly get several years of exclusive streaming television rights to the MLB Home Run Derby. We'll see how that plays out. Now, this all comes as Major League Baseball and ESPN recently broke up. the Sunday night games that were on ESPN opted out of. Now, it's widely expected that a lot of those rights will end up, TV rights that are coming from Apple and other places will end up at NBC. There's a chance, though, that MLB games will return to ESPN proper. Also, we'll see how that plays out. Now, this seems to be a better deal for ESPN if the rumors are right. We'll see, but overall, it could be a more profitable deal for Major League Baseball and bring, hopefully, more games to the general public. Major League Baseball has been one of the more aggressive in locking a lot of their content behind very expensive regional sports networks. It's caused them a hard time to reach new audiences. We'll see if this deal makes big changes to that to make the sport more accessible to more people. All right, next up, hey, if you're a fan of the original 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, it's back in theaters. I completely missed this, but it was in theaters this past weekend and apparently did well with over $3 million in revenue. I mean, let's be honest, if you can just re-release something you had and make $3 million, not bad. Well, because of that, the film has been extended. AMC theaters and several other theaters across the country are airing this movie or showing it, screening it, however you want to call it, for one more weekend. So if you've been looking for something to do this week, maybe over the holiday weekend coming up here, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 1990 movie, is back in theaters for a limited time. Check out, maybe take the kids, maybe they can see it. All right, next up, the end of the T-Mobile blackout deal. I know I touched on this real briefly, but I got a lot of questions about this. I'm going to touch on it again real quickly in this story. I should group these two right next to each other. Again, Major League Baseball, MLB.TV's deal with T-Mobile for now is good to go. They have a contract through the 2028 season. Beyond that, your guess is as good as mine. I do not know if there's an early termination. Even if they do sell to ESPN, it'll be a while before that fully takes effect, and it'll be a while before big changes are made. For now, if you're a T-Mobile customer, I would not be freaking out, worrying. Sure, things could happen, but if they do, I'll have full coverage over at CoreCardsNews.com. It's been a while since I talked about this. When you get news like this, there's two extremes, right? Everything is fine. End of the world is happening, right? And a lot of people like to go over to the end of the world is happening, and when the truth is somewhere in the middle. You hear people say, everything's going to be fine, T-Mobile will keep it. Oh, end of the world, T-Mobile will no longer have MLB.TV. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle. We'll have to wait and see how that falls. But that's kind of a truth for all news stories, is you need to read both sides, and the truth is somewhere in the middle of that news story there. All right. Next up, hey, if you're a fan of the Super Mario Brothers movie, it's been reported that they're working on a second one, but the wildly popular new Super Mario Brothers movie has come to Amazon Prime Video. If you're a Prime Video subscriber, you can get it for free over there. Link in the show notes if you want to learn more about that. Also, 39 years ago this weekend, Stand By Me hit theaters. The classic Stephen King's coming-of-age classic movie. I forgot Will Wheaton was in that. But is it hard to believe it's been 39 years since that popular movie hit theaters? Way back in August 22nd, 1986. Anybody a big fan of the Stand By Me movie? Leave me a comment. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. A few other stories that I just grabbed from online that really stood out to me. There's a few over the weekend I thought was interesting. Now, I grew up in the 90s and 2000s with college and high school and all you heard was, get a computer science degree, you'll be made for life. Even people without a college degree that knew something about computers were making crazy amounts of money. Well, now according to a report from Newsweek, the popular college major with the highest unemployment rates includes computer science. Now, a few things here. Supply and demand. I think a lot of people went to computer science degrees of different kind of variations, and a lot of people have discovered that there's such a flood of it that's hard to stand out. Two, a lot of international market issues here. A lot of programmers working cheap around the world, which results in this. Also, massive layoffs. I blame Twitter, now X, for this. When massive amounts of layoffs came to that, and the service kept running, a lot of other tech companies started saying, hey, do we have a bunch of employees we don't really need? And we've seen massive layoffs across. And last of the board, cutting staff and really looking like, hey, how much are our employees actually doing? How much do we have in redundancy here that doesn't need to be in place? And lastly, you can't deny AI. AI is a big part of this. A lot of programming, reviews, minor changes. Increasingly, AI is getting very good, and billions of dollars is being spent to train it to do basic programming. Because right now, a lot of people are making a ton of money doing very minor programming work with this, that increasingly companies are hoping AI. Now, I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying why I think this is happening. But I don't think you can also ignore the fact that thousands of people went and got these degrees. And now there's not as many jobs as there once was in that field. And probably even if it was the amount that there was, we oversaturated. You always have to be careful of that when you're looking at careers. Yeah, it's popular, successful. But is there a reason why it's, is there work there at the end? Is there a reason for that? Was this a temporary bubble because of high demand and low supply? Well, now we have high supply and low demand. That directly relates to unemployment, and with that, different things when it comes to pay on it. And lastly, I thought this was very interesting because I have a good friend who's a therapist, but according to a report from Reuters, increasingly people are turning to AI therapy to get therapists. Now, a few things here. There is a big shortage of therapists in the country for a variety of reasons. One, he tells me it's a stressful job. You listen to people, sometimes very sad, very depressing things all day. Two, pay can be kind of rough. You often have to spend a lot of time arguing with insurance companies to get paid and different things. Hours are rough. And sometimes you spend months with one client just trying to get them to open up to you. On the flip side, a lot of people feel very uncomfortable talking to another human about personal things. I wonder how much of this is people feeling more comfortable talking to what they think is an inanimate object, and having therapy with an AI versus a true human maybe make them more willing to actually talk. Is it as good of therapy? That's a good question. There's been moves to ban AI therapists as unproven medical and worry over maybe less than perfect recommendations coming from these therapists with it. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But hey, I mean, still some pretty good work out there for therapists if you're looking for it, if you're accredited and all that. Let me know, what do you think? AI therapists, would you use one? Would you not? Hey, one thing here. We talked about jobs, worst jobs to get when it comes to high unemployment. One job that's very good right now that's desperately needing people is accountants. If you're good at being with math and numbers, you may want to think about being an accountant. There is a huge demand with very high salaries out there right now. Very few people are getting accounting degrees at this moment, resulting in the people who do get them being in very high demand and getting big salaries right off the bat. Talking to some people I know who own an accounting firm, and I was told that they've been looking sometimes for years to fill vacant accountant slots out there. So if you've got somebody who's been thinking like, what can I do to get really good money? You may want to consider accounting as a way to do it. Well, that's it for today. Hey, just a few stories there at the end that really just jumped out to me. I love news. I'll be honest, I've always loved reading news, following the news and more. Sometimes, one of the reasons I started this is to also not only share my experiences cord cutting, but also talk about things that interest me. Every now and then I'll throw in a few more things that interest me here. Well, I hope you had a fantastic day. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. We really do appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow with another video. Until then, take care. Be safe. I'll talk to you all again real soon.